Hi, LeeThompson. I'm CTO of Morph Labs, which is a private cloud infrastructure. It's best of breed hyperscale hardware, complete batteries included, cloud infrastructure, storage, compute, and network is all virtualized. Very easy to deploy, and you can put it in your own data center. You can put it into a hosted facility, and get into cloud computing private, which is an enabler for a lot of companies that can't use public cloud infrastructure. Been involved in the DevOps community since its inception. A lot of the thoughts I had were working with Alex Honor when he was at E-Trade. My background is E-Trade Financial. It was a company that I was with since it was like 40 people. And when the company was small, the cycle time from idea to production was typically hours, maybe a few days. As the company grew, the responsibility grew, and the customers grew, the organization became more specialized, and change management became critical because of the online facility of managing people's money. And the cycle time from idea to production got slower and slower and slower, and that made it made it less satisfying to work there. Started reading a lot about how social media has even with scale has very rapid cycle times, and developers are quite engaged and involved in production. And the financial services industry didn't have that. When I left E-Trade, we co-authored a paper called Fully Automated Provisioning Toolchain. Started blogging on DevOpsDays.org. Started hooking up with a guy named Patrick Dubois out in Belgium. He thought, maybe we should call it DevOps instead of Dev2Ops. That was a better idea. It's definitely a lot easier to say. And DevOpsDays, we started participating in that. Through discussions with the Puppet and Chef guys, and of course the guys at DTO Solutions who I was working with outside of E-Trade, we came up with the idea that the problem was so big, it wasn't just one tool like Puppet or Chef or Control Tier, which is the preceding product from DTO Solutions, Rundeck's current one. There was really a tool chain problem for different areas of DevOps. And so we opened up a discussion list called DevOps Toolchain. So a lot of really good content on that mail list. Kind of solidified some of the problem spaces, real world solutions to those problems from lots of different companies. And the DevOps Days started about the same time. And here we are in Austin, a couple years into it. Let's see. Currently, CTO at Morph Labs, and the cloud movement is in cloud computing is such an active thing. A lot of companies are going from private infrastructure to cloud infrastructure, and I'm bringing all the DevOps knowledge to that, to Morph Labs to try to keep the demands of my customers up as quick as possible and keep the cycle time really quick. So what else can I tell you?
I guess the biggest challenges that you're facing right
now. I guess the biggest challenge is in-a-box infrastructure, which is what we're doing. Companies are going to run their businesses on cloud computing. Sometimes their applications are designed for it, and it's a fairly easy conversion. Sometimes they're not. Their processes, procedures, and their technology is really more designed for physical infrastructure that is very manual. Cloud's an API. It's not a power button, and you have to change your process procedures and your technology quite a bit. And so guiding companies to that kind of infrastructure sometimes can be difficult. But I think Amazon obviously is and the successes of companies on top of Amazon has prepared companies to make that transition, and they're doing that right now. So there's a large demand for cloud.
And if you had control over the world, what would you like to see happening in DevOps? What direction in the next few years?
I think and we've been talking about it. we're engineers, almost all of us. It's a community movement. Most of it's community-driven content, and we drop down too low level often. We often go down to the tools. The funny thing is we're all toolsmiths. I mean, some of the most active members of this community write the tools that we use because they see a problem and they automate it with a tool. But we all realize it's people, process, then tools. Tools is the least important part, but the content of this conference is largely tools. We'd like to see more of the people and organizational problems addressed and the process addressed. For instance, I've been pretty inspired by the Lean Startup. It's another great book. And lean thinking and how that parallels some of the ideas of DevOps. I'd like to see more content in the DevOpsDays on lean. And some of that started this week, which is really good.
Heard that a little bit.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I see you were just talking about the lean book, but if you were on a desert island and you had one book that you would take with you, and you still somehow were doing your
one
DevOps
book.
stuff,
Wow.
even though you were alone on the desert island.
That's funny.
Other than the future when IT fails.
Yeah. Right. Which I got to get. Yeah, I'm sure I'll enjoy that one. I'll tell you one thing about. I started at Morph Labs in November. We had an employee all hands, and the same kind of question was, would bring one book, and I couldn't decide. It's like Sophie's Choice, my boy, my girl. So I picked two. It ends up I chickened out and I couldn't do one. But we did Lean Startup and Visible Ops. So I think the Lean Startup, minimum viable product, also minimum viable process. I think a lot of companies put in process when you need to ask the reverse question is, do I actually have, what if I don't put this process in? Wouldn't that be better? And so we're thinking about that a lot at Morph Labs, especially minimum viable product. Get the product out there, get it in the hands of customers. It may be 80% functional for them and usable, and get their feedback, and they can tell you what the highest priority is, and then get the cycle time down such that you can get that extra 20% lift to that customer as quick as possible. Don't guess that customers need X and Y features when they actually don't. That keeps your innovation rate very, very high, and also it's a lot more fun to work at. But couldn't give you one.
That's fine.
All right.
Well, I think that's it.
Okay.
I'll let you get back.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet. Look forward to the book too.